Live from the Plutopia verse. This is the Plutopia Happy Holidays Happy Hour. And we're just happy to be anywhere. I am anyway. I'm Scoop Sweeney. She is Susie Sheeler. And of course, there in the middle is John Lebkowski.
Woo-woo.
How are we all, folks?
Well, we're here
We are
and
here.
we're happening.
Everybody
Wait,
has to be somewhere.
That's
one of
right.
the
That's
laws
right.
of physics.
That's
Here
right.
we are.
And I'm just, there we go. I have too many things that I have to pay attention to when we launch.
I'm so broke I can't pay attention, he said.
It confuses me. So all of our millions of viewers out there right now are probably wondering how we are going to entertain them for the next hour. And I guess we're going to do it by just hanging out and talking.
Yeah.
Free
that's what-
association.
It's a
Well, we
talk
do
show
best.
after all.
Stream of consciousness or stream of unconsciousness, whatever suits you.
Right on.
Yeah.
So
How y'all feel-
Susie,
Yes.
you kick it off.
How do you guys feel about the holidays coming? Oh, and to just break in there, just a news story that I saw about the holidays was that at the UN, a Polish, I don't know if it was a prime minister, he was a representative, and he went to the menorah that was burning, and he put it out with a fire extinguisher.
Oh, I heard about that.
So
What a man.
what a fella, right? And then he sprayed the woman who was trying to get him. It was just like, what? There you go. It's how are you guys feeling about this whole festive thing right now? I'm not feeling festive this year.
Well, I
especially-
mean, we're in the middle of Hanukkah.
I know.
And in the middle of Hanukkah, we're very aware that in Israel, which is the Jewish state, they're having a war.
Yes.
And I think it's probably very hard to celebrate when you're in the middle of a war.
Yeah.
And we're in the middle of our own war here in the U.S. It may be a mostly Cold War, but
It'll get there.
it's
It'll
tense.
warm up.
It's tense.
You mean the battle for democracy or against democracy, depending on what side you're on?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it's a battle for sanity.
It is. It truly is. And I wonder if we don't just as animals resort to a fascistic state, like all animals. We don't necessarily all want to lead. Some of us are cool with following, and just like any other animal, we fight for democracy, but for some reason there's communism and there's fascism, and it looks like we're headed towards fascism in my opinion. I think a lot of people think that. But
Are you
seems
calling
like
my cat a fascist?
I think it's our default. I think it's
No, I
our
don't.
default.
Yeah, really, that's an interesting thing, because there is a belief system that says that competition and dominance are inherent in human beings, but anytime that we've made real progress, and actually within many of the human cultures that have existed to date, it's all about cooperation. It's all about mutual support. It's really not the default, but it appears to be the default for certain kinds of people, or in certain kinds of culture, I guess. But I think kind of what we're seeing in the U.S. now is we're seeing a clash of people who want to have like dominance from the top, and people who want to have a more collegial and cooperative system. Though I don't think the sort of at the center, I don't think that it leans quite as far enough to cooperation, or quite as far as it could to cooperation. So I believe in supporting a cooperative mindset. and people who support other people and not people who constantly denigrate other people and preach hate.
Yeah, what I see is this is very much deja vu all over again. I remember similar kinds of political environments back in the 1970s when Richard Nixon was in power and the moral majority was coming to being, and the silent majority was being not so silent, and it
Was it
it
was
just
it
goes in cycles, and
it
we're just cycled right back into that same bullshit
ex
again.
exactly. It just seems like that's what happens is we crawl out of this this hole of somebody wanting to have ultimate power, a
Mm.
fascist, if you will, and we climb out of it, Nixon, and then we just fall back into it, Trump.
Yeah.
Well, we're seeing is that people can be manipulated.
Mm.
It's not all of the people all the time. What the thing about it, you can't fool all the people all the time, and you can't manipulate all of the people all the time. What will happen is that you can build a base, as they like to call it now, and those people will really believe in you and they'll get behind your stuff and all that. But there'll be a whole other set of people who are not on board at all. And the question is whether you can take complete power for your base and for you, talking about Trump again,
Yep.
Mm.
or whether the cooler heads will prevail and we will continue to have the system of governance that was envisioned for the U.S.
Mm-hmm. Do you
Yeah,
think it's as bad, or do you? I feel like, I mean, I was alive for the Nixon thing. I was 3. I do remember it being on TV, but I think this is so much worse.
It's a matter of worse, value.
I mean, I'm wondering. Okay, you tell
At the
me.
time,
What was it like?
it was equally scary because people like John and I were being political. We looked different from the established norms. I had this kind of hair back then. It was further down on my head. Unfortunately, it's regressed a bit and headed south on me. But just that simple thing of looking a different way could get you killed. And
Yeah.
I knew people who actually were killed, people who were beaten up and this is white on white crime.
Yeah.
Yeah.
White on other colors crime was always,
Oh yeah.
almost like it was a popular sport here in Texas or in the South in general.
Well, and
One thing I
queers
noticed
and
about the cycles of all of this is we had Nixon, and he was horrifying. I mean, he was, war was his thing, and subverting democracy was also his thing. Him and J. Edgar Hoover, that was the head of the FBI, who was just a total fascist, and and also a cross-dressers. So I mean, that was kind of confusing.
right.
But we got rid of him. He finally was driven from office. We got Gerald Ford, who was like he he was just kind of a comedy relief.
All I ever see when
he was just
think of him is Chevy Chase doing
yeah,
him on SNL. So perfect.
and as many times falling downstairs, and we the activist culture kind of slowed down and got distracted to other things, and then we got Jimmy Carter, who was a big, breath of fresh air. He wasn't a great president; he's a great human being, but he had his term, and we all went, "Oh, well, it's okay. We've got a Democrat in office, and we can go off and live a life." We went off and lived a life, and we ended up with Ronald Reagan.
Yep.
We had him for
And
the '80s,
that's
and then
what
we got
happened.
H.W. Bush, and he was once again kind of Ronald Reagan and light. And then we got Bill Clinton, and everybody relaxed again. It's like, oh, well, we got rid of those Nazis, so we've got Bill Clinton, and
Yeah.
we let them get back in again. Hello, George Bush. And it cycles upon cycles.
Yeah, I don't, I don't, and the fact that this is happening, it's so ubiquitous, and I mean, it's all over the world right now. People are falling to the right, and way too far. Although I did read, I think it was Norway that just got rid of their ultra right government. But other countries, I don't know, other than Ireland.
Yeah, the Netherlands has a new knothead. My friend, former journalist partner, Marlene Edmonds, lives in Netherlands, and she was a long time. She created one of the first feminist news services when we were working at Zodiac News, and so she is very dialed into what's right and what's wrong, and she just freaked out about this new idiot that came in.
Yeah,
Because it's always the Netherlands has always been like an island of sanity, and now it's like what are you people doing?
that's right. It's terrifying. It's like, well, I don't know. And I don't think I have it in me to get into the Gaza thing right now.
No,
That's a
it's just
lot.
that's a no-win situation for everyone. I mean,
Yeah.
when you have things like that, it's just there are no good sides and bad sides. It's just that a lot of death and misery going on everywhere.
Yeah.
Well, I'm going to do my bit and just toast what I hope is going to be a newer year. John, you have your coffee cup. This is my new one. My
Yeah, I like it.
my Plutopia coffee cup's dirty, so this is my current coffee cup here. I don't have a cat anymore, so this one was available.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Kitties have been gone for a long time. I've had dozens of them.
Cats are good.
Well, the problem that we have is that we don't really know what's going on because we can't really see it. We can't really be clear that we're getting an accurate accounting of anything.
No,
So we're being fed narratives, and we're trying to weave together some sense of what's happening with the narratives. But it's really, really hard. It's hard to really understand what's going on and what it means. And one of the problems I'm complaining the most about now is the media's dependence on polling. These polls, the accuracy of which is highly questionable and dubious, even though people will say, well, they were always right before, not really. Yeah. And the thing is that a poll doesn't really tell you anything. And it's really, to me, pretty fucking lazy to rely on polls and poll numbers for news content when what you really could be doing is actually investigating what's really happening, what people are really doing, rather than polling people about what they think people are doing.
Yep.
And that means we're being fed narratives now that are, it's like they ask you what you think is happening and you tell them what you think is happening, and then they tell you this is what's happening. It's what you think is happening. And it's like, who knows what's happening?
Well, John, you're the only poll that I trust. So if you excuse the reference, anyway. Yeah. But we've spent billions and trillions of dollars on weather satellites, and the weatherman on TV can't get it right. So these little Mickey Mouse polls, I don't put a lot of faith.
Well, and another example of this thing about, like not knowing for sure what's going on, is getting a lot of misleading information. And we have Republicans in the House who understand that if they are investigating people, it looks like there's something worthy of investigation. right? So they have been pushing investigation after investigation after investigation. And the particular one that they're focused on right now is the investigation for impeachment of Joe Biden. They have no crime that they have no evidence of any crime that Joe Biden has committed. So what they're doing is they're calling for an investigation to see if they can come up with a crime.
But haven't they already been doing that?
Well, they've been doing it, but now it's been formalized as an impeachment investigation, which makes it sound more official and more like there's really something to be investigated.
Well,
the thing is that they try to authenticate the lies that they're selling by cloaking them within an investigation.
It's almost like you going into your doctor's office and the doctor looks at you and says, "You look like something's wrong with you." And you're like, "Well, I'm fine." So, no, we're going to have to see if we can find a disease.
Right, right.
They're looking for a disease that the patient doesn't really know they have.
What I've read is that they basically just want to have it on the books so that they can't use Trump's impeachment against him, because then he can turn around and say, well, Biden got impeached too. Everything's just bullshit,
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's it's stupid, but it's not stupid. Because just like you said, it makes people think there's something going on.
Well, so there's an interesting thing about this stuff that's going on in the House, which is that there is a subset of the Republicans who are unfortunately kind of getting other people to follow them, and that might end. But these are people who essentially all they've done is they've done performative stuff. They didn't run for office in order to contribute to effective government or get legislation passed. If anything, they want to prevent all that because government bad, right? So
unless it comes to women.
They're not getting anything done. I mean, they may be getting some things done, but they're malicious. But they're not really getting things done for the people. They're not getting legislation passed. It's getting passed.
They have an agenda that is,
but not because of them.
No, it's all purposeful that they're doing this shit. They have an agenda. They want to ram it through. I mean, the whole abortion thing, when you put it to the people, they vote overwhelmingly to keep abortion legal. But so a lot of these states are not putting it to a vote to the people. They're putting it a vote in Congress. And of course, it's Republican led. So there you go. The end.
Yeah, these people are representing the people, but they're only certain people, usually people that have deep pockets and big checks that they write out to politicians.
And no uterus.
Else. And if you're in a red state, you're not getting your needs met unless you're of a certain political class or a certain economic class and a certain color. Mm-hmm. Otherwise, your representative doesn't even know you exist.
That's right.
Your representative is getting paid $200,000 a year to post bullshit on social media.
And my representative is supposed to represent me and also other people. And, not just the Republicans, but that's not what they do. I mean, this has become so bizarre because it used to be that a representative, although Democratic or Republican, was the voice for everyone in that district. But it doesn't seem, I've never had my congressman call me and see what I think, No, they don't do town fucking halls. When was the last town hall that Chip Roy did?
Yeah. Now, here's a nice thing. Someone is furious at President Biden. Guess who it is? It's Elon Musk's mom.
Oh, yes.
Yes, she's furious because he did not. The FCC denied the Starlink subsidy of $885.5 million to underwrite the operation of Starlink's internet service to serve rural areas, and they
And it,
basically canceled it because they were getting all that money, but they weren't really serving all the areas that they had agreed to. So the usual Elon Musk thing of give me your money, but you may not get your contract stuck to because I'm going to do it my own way. And so
exactly.
he
He's
even
just,
called in his mom. So
yeah. And
that's a new low.
her post was like, other governments love Elon. And I'm like,
Which ones are they?
can I get a list of these people? Because
It's a short one.
I don't know anyone who likes that motherfucker. Nobody. He is such a goober. And I mean, he thinks he's so cool. It's just this bizarre Dunning-Kruger thing, that he just really thinks he exudes this coolness and that everyone just wants to be him or hang out with him. And it's like so opposite.
Well, he exudes something, but I won't say what it is. I think we know what that is.
Yeah.
But and then the other news story about the Muskie is that they've had to recall all of their Tesla cars because of its autopilot. And it was, he kept saying, no, it's not killing anybody. And all these dead bodies kept showing up inside of Teslas that were being autopiloted.
Did you guys see?
He's going to fix it with a download or an upload.
Oh, really? Oh, interesting.
We'll see how that works.
The new movie out on, I think it's Netflix. Leave the World Behind.
Oh, yeah.
Oh my God, that scene with the Teslas, that was worth the whole movie right there. Just watching those Teslas crash into each other, one after another and another. And it was just this tangle of twittered Teslas, it just got totally
twittered Teslas. Now there is you just won the broadcast for today there. That's our quotable quote.
I wish we could talk about the message that film conveys without spoiling it, but I'm afraid that we would spoil it if we did.
Well, now I'm gonna have to go watch it. I'm behind.
Oh yeah,
it's pretty.
You ought to put that up front.
Yeah, it's very. I mean, it's a good movie. It really was a good movie. I mean, I know I think it missed chances to be better. I'll say that. But I thought it was, overall, it was a pretty good movie.
Yeah, I miss chances to be better all the time.
Me too. So,
Yeah. Can't hold that against him.
My movies suck.
Sam Esmail. He's the Mr. Robot guy.
Yes.
No.
He's the one who did that. Yeah, I thought it was pretty good. The ship was pretty cool too. When it came, ran aground. But I mean, really, you think that she says, hey, here's this oil tanker coming right at him, on the beach. And she says, hey, should we be worried about that? And he's like, oh no, it's got to stop. We've got this idea that we're not living in the real world. Oh, that can't be real. That's not real.
Yeah.
There are a lot of people like that around who just, and you see the end result. People doing insane things that definitely is going to get them killed, and they do get killed, and then people get sued because they should have told him he was going to get killed. Well, we did, so.
Yeah, like going on a roller coaster even. It's like if something happens, I mean, I've never known anybody that's happened to. So to me, it's like, well, that's not going to happen. That's not real.
Why do you go to Cybertruck? That'll get you killed, apparently. Yeah. There are, the big. I'm looking at the headline from NBC News: pedestrians already dying at record levels.
Oh my God!
Face Elon Musk's Cybertruck.
Oh my Lord!
And the people are already getting screwed on it because apparently the construction is kind of half-assed. They can see little cracks in the body of that brand new Cybertruck.
They got musked.
Yes, they're smelling the musk.
They got hit by the muskrat.
Oh God!
Muskrat. Oh God, now I'm thinking of all sorts of really bad rock songs.
Yes, no, I'm right there
Muskrat
with you.
Love.
I was just listening to that the other day. I have to say, I really was, because I was like singing it to myself, and I was like, nibbling on bacon and chewing on cheese. Are those real lyrics? They are.
Yeah, the drugs kicked in on a lot of
I was like,
songwriters back in those days.
they were an interesting duo. He was weird. I always thought he was weird. The captain of what?
Oh, they were pretty good. I always kind of
They
liked
had
them.
some songs, yeah.
His name was Daryl Dragon.
Daryl Dragon. Love Will Keep Us
Yeah.
Together is one of the greatest songs ever.
Yeah. I thought they were good. I mean, I kind of like pop music sometimes.
Oh, I do too,
I mean,
definitely.
it's hard not to.
Right? That's what it's for. That's what, yeah.
I mean, I saw that great concert the other night. Did I tell you guys about the concert we went to? So
Oh,
we saw
Black
the Black Pumas, and the Black Pumas are really great, and we kind of knew they were going to be really great. They had a little bit of a slow start. At one point, Eric Burton fell off the stage at one point. That was
Yike.
I don't think it hurt him really bad. He kind of got up and kept going, but geez. Anyway, but the opening band was a group of 3 women. It's called Say She She. And they were doing a kind of like pop funk.
Okay.
And they had made amazing harmonies. I mean, it was like, it was a bolt from the blue. It was celestial,
Cool.
And it's kind of good to stumble into something like that. It's like I had discovered Say She a few days before that, because I just happened on a review of them in Mojo and was listening to their record. And so, oh, this is pretty good. This is pretty good. Well, I had no idea. I mean, the live performance was pretty amazing. And they have a really hot band behind them too. So,
oh yeah.
Yeah. So, and you can go to YouTube and you can find some performances by Say She, and they're really, the YouTube recordings are good too.
That's cool. All right. I've read an article the other day that said people stop listening to new music when they hit 50.
Well, not me.
No, but I think that's probably true. I think I mean, I still listen to new stuff too, but I think that's probably, like my playlist is full of like, there have been so many great songs throughout time that sometimes I don't have room for that new Taylor Swift song. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's hard to keep up because there's it changes so quickly. There are very few long-term acts. You've got your Taylor Swifts and the big ones, Beyonce, but there are many really great acts that I'll hear the song. The next thing you know, they're gone. They've been dropped by the record label because record labels stopped developing artists. You had to. They would only sign you now if you are already a superstar, which doesn't make a whole lot of sense.
Unless you're Disney, they're just making their own. I don't know. They got a big cream cheese factory over there, and they're just pumping
cream cheese factory
out.
is right. The Chuck E. Cheese of music.
Yes, I really think that's what happens. And I think they probably have an algorithm that throws all the words together and says, "Here's your song." I don't think there's any actual. What am I trying to say? There's no creativity to it. Just you feed it words, and it can write a song for you. I mean, that's how this music sounds now, which is why I like Taylor Swift, because I know she does write her own stuff.
I just want to show you what I've been listening to. This kind of gives you an idea. So I'm all over the place. Like that Alabaster de Plume is jazz, and Goat is psychedelic music, and of course the Boston Pops. You know what that is. These are bands that I just discovered one way or another. This down here on the lower right, you see Silver by Say She. That's their album that just came out.
All right.
And it's
That one
Most
right
of what I
there.
listen to
That-
is relatively new,
Wait,
but I
wait,
still
wait,
like.
wait. That Red album, The Beatles,
Yes,
that
yes,
was
yes.
that was the very first record I bought with my own money.
Bless your heart.
Well, an interesting thing about that album, so there's the red album, the blue album, right? They were both just totally redone by Giles Martin.
Oh wow.
You know, he's been going through the Beatles collection, and what he's been doing is going in and very skillfully remastering them with a whole team of people and incredible technology, and you know, making them sound just amazing. And he has done that most recently with those two collections, the
Oh
anthologies.
cool.
Yeah,
Did you
And
did
they
I
you
have the
sound amazing.
original versions of them on vinyl, and
Yeah.
quite different.
Yeah.
Has anyone heard the new song that Paul came out with that
Yeah.
was the old John, and they
Yeah,
somehow get John by AI to sing this song?
yeah.
Is-
I'd listened to it once and it's like, no, that's just
I don't want to listen to it.
well, it's total bullshit because uh, John Lennon never intended to do that, and I object to that when people say I'm going to take this artist's music and make it better, and
Yeah,
completely changes the whole
I was super
meaning of what the person was
surprised.
doing. And yeah, I really object to that. I love the people that have a taste for the old stuff simply because I've got two oldies radio stations, so they're my people. So if they ever stop listening to oldies, then I'm out of business. And
Well, I mean,
but I listen to
I think
everything because I just love anything that's good. It doesn't have to be a particular genre. It's just like, is it good?
There
Fine.
used to be
but I think it's fine what Charles Martin has been doing because he was there all along, and his dad was really another Beatle basically, and I don't know. I mean, I have no complaints about what he's been doing.
Yeah.
I might have
The
a
thing
complaint
was is
about
the Beatles
about somebody else.
really hated what he did to a lot of to some of their music, and especially McCartney. He and Lennon went and did that album. Or I think, well, John was already gone, but they did one called "Let It Be Nude." "Let It Be Nude," which was "Let It Be" without all the studio effects. It was just the original tracks. I think that was the name of it.
interesting.
I don't know. I didn't really. I hadn't really heard that. I had heard that they really appreciated what Giles Martin was doing.
Well, at the time it did, but it's one of those retrospect things. It's like, well, people get a time to think about it and hear from other people, and sometimes they'll change their opinions. I enjoyed all that stuff, but there's a lot of artists who really complained about people messing with their original. The thing about the cleaned up, new versions of classic albums, they end up sounding really great and perfect, but that wasn't the original vision of the artist and the original producer, because the way analog recording worked, it wasn't perfect. So you had to mix it to the best of your abilities, and it was really difficult to get it to sound the way it sounded in the live studio. But once they got the mix right, then it would sound good on any music system. My studio here, I have two types of speakers in here. I have some JBL full range speakers, and I have these ones called NS10M studio speakers, and they're meant to sound more like the worst possible, well, not the worst possible, but the average cheap stereo system, so that you can know that your mix will not only sound on great, $1,000 speakers, but they'll sound good on that shitty boombox. And that's how a lot of producers that I got to work with, that's how they did, is they always had a shitty boombox, and they would take a a dub of what they had just mixed, and we'd go outside and listen to it on the boombox and see if it really held up. Because the idea was not to sound good only in the super expensive audiophile audio system, but on any system that, you don't have to be rich to get the full impact of the music. And that was the whole idea of analog recording.
Yeah.
I don't know. The thing that what I appreciate about the Giles Martin remasters of the Beatles' work is that I feel that I can hear better what they were trying to do, because at the time they were limited by the technology that they had. And he has said, I mean, he's made it clear that he's really trying to make it sound the way they would have wanted it to sound if they had had like a more sophisticated set of tools.
Yeah, but the reason that they sounded the way they did, because there was no better. Because, I mean, they were in the best possible recording studios, the best on the planet. So at that time, that's the best you could get. And so that was their vision, or their thing.
It's
that they
like,
wanted to
yeah, I
produce.
get,
What they came up with was what they were pleased with the outcome.
yeah,
So they didn't know any better.
It's like
Yeah,
bejeweling the Mona Lisa, right?
yeah. Put some makeup and some
Yeah,
some
make her look better. Give her
on
like
that
a little
girl.
bit of a little lipstick, a little bit of,
Boob job, or
yeah, big it's just new. It's just better. We've got
Now-
that now. We've got that now. It's like Kim
But,
Kardashian.
I'm just an old time analog guy. I've always loved the richness of the sound, and a lot of people hate it because you can hear a click or a pop there. Well, that's
Part of the
what it was.
experience, man.
Get over it, Skippy.
Yeah, no doubt. But that was annoying when it would
But
skip.
I sure do love my digital studio here, though. I mean, it's so easy to edit,
And it's so,
complicated edits.
and you can keep all the music. I used to travel. When I would travel, I would take all my music with me, always. And it was just, at some point it became just undoable. It was so heavy. I would either cassettes or CDs or whatever. I just couldn't take it. It was too heavy. And so now, that's kind of cool that you can have your music anywhere.
Yeah, and I have it here. I couldn't carry it anywhere.
Right?
I literally have every single piece of recorded music that I ever bought, except for the ones that have been stolen by people coming in and saying, "I like this."
Oh,
But-
I'll bring it
But, I
back.
mean, I this whole wall is albums and singles and CDs and DVDs and cassettes. And I've got another couple of walls that are full of that too. My wife grumbles at me. She's like, "Are you gonna ever get your own house?"
I didn't know you could do that. Well, do you guys have any Christmas plans coming up? Going anywhere
Well,
fun?
Let's see. I'm gonna
Not
have
really.
a belly that jiggles like a jello.
Mhm.
And that's my Christmas cheer there. I
Yeah,
didn't
I'm
intend
about
it to
there
do
with it.
that. That's just the way it came out.
I'm glad that there weren't any major airline issues this Thanksgiving. I mean, it
No,
could have been so much worse. Yeah,
It's still early.
Ugh,
Have
Yeah.
you watched the new Doctor Who?
Oh, I
Short
was the
series.
third one. I got the first two.
Yeah.
I haven't caught up.
Yeah, so the new Doctor Who is going to be Nakuti Gatwa, which I think is an amazing choice.
cool.
You probably don't know who Nakuti Gatwa is, do you?
I don't watch Doctor Who.
Well,
Uh,
Nakuti Gatwa was in there was a Netflix series called Sex Education. Have you
Okay.
seen that? It had Gillian Anderson in it,
No.
and damn, I'm trying.
I
to blank.
remember it. I remember it being advertised, but I never watched it.
It's very
I
good.
already
very
already
good.
know everything.
Well, I mean, it's not an educational series.
I know.
It's anyway. So Nakuti Gatwa was one of the key characters in that series, and he's a great choice
Cool.
for Doctor Who. But I guess you guys don't know what I'm talking about, so I'll shut up.
Well, yeah, I've been following it, but I didn't know the name of the 15th Doctor, but I've been actually doing a Doctor Who marathon. We've just been doing a little thing in the evening, a glass of wine, some Doctor Who, and whatever else comes along, and it's an interesting series. Some of I mean, it's just totally all over the place, but. I got started
I always
that
liked
back
David.
in the 70s.
I like David Tennant quite a bit as Doctor Who. I always kind of, to
I
me,
like
he
him.
was sort of like the real model for Doctor Who.
Yeah. And
I liked him. I liked Peter Capaldi real well,
mhm.
and I have not seen the latest Doctor Who series with what was the name of the actress who played the part? I don't remember her name.
Okay, I'm trying to. Jodie Whittaker.
Jodie Whittaker, right?
Mhm.
So I haven't seen the Jodie Whittaker version yet. That's
Yeah, I
something
saw
I
it.
have to.
It was kind of spotty, in my watching, so I haven't seen it all. But they've had a lot of interesting actors. David Tennant was also in. Um, what was there was a really good BBC series that he was in. He's a versatile actor.
He's really good. Yeah,
Yeah,
he's
he's
a great
pretty
actor.
amazing.
He was
Quite
also in
good.
Harry
Yeah.
Potter. He was an evil uh, Death Eater in Harry Potter.
The Death Eater. That's right. The Death Eater. I forgot about that. I forgot about a lot of Harry Potter stuff. Just saw a few of the movies, and then I read the first one in Spanish. Didn't quite. I don't think I quite got it all, but it was okay. It was all right. That's my reading level, I guess.
Yeah, I was exposed to it when Clarissa read all the books. I mean, she just loves reading a whole series of Stephen King and
Yeah.
Harry Potter stuff, and I finally figured, well, if she's been kept excited by this through all these books, I might watch the movie. And
Yeah.
it was okay.
David
Yeah.
Tennant had a great role in Ahsoka. If you've seen Ahsoka,
Oh, that's right.
the
Yeah,
Star Wars series, he played Professor Hu Yang,
yeah.
who was
I
a
like that
robot.
series.
The Star Wars series. Okay, which one? Because I just got Disney and I'm starting to watch. I'm watching them, all the stuff.
Well, you probably want it before you see Ahsoka. You probably want to see some of the other stuff.
Yeah,
especially the Mandalorian. The
Okay.
Mandalorian sets up a number of things that happen. The Mandalorian, and then the
The
Boba
Boba Fett one is kind of
Boba
tied in as
Fett.
well.
Yeah,
Okay.
and
I
then
just saw the Bad Batch.
That's what I haven't done yet.
That's what it's called. It's after the Clone War, I think.
Mhm.
the Ahsoka part is played by Rosario Dawson, and she's
Oh,
you know
cool.
always
Really good,
amazing.
yeah.
Yes. Perfect. I did see that on Disney also. So I'm definitely working my way through the Star Wars stuff.
Yeah, some of these Star Wars spin-offs actually turned out to be quite nice. There was, the early remakes that George Lucas did were all, I mean, I was kind of, it was like, I
I
don't know.
did not like that at all. I
Yeah,
remember John,
director's cuts are always kind of strange.
the whole team went to see that Star Wars film. Do you remember that when it came out?
No,
That was a
vaguely.
big thing that we all just left early to go see. It was
I don't think I was there when Star Wars premiered.
Oh man,
Was
we
it
all
the first film?
left. It was, yeah.
I saw it several times.
We were all just like, what is happening? Why is this Jar Jar person doing what he's doing? It was all very.
Oh,
Ooh.
Yeah.
that one. That one. Yeah, I
Yes.
was
Jar
thinking
Jar.
about the first Star Wars.
No,
Yeah.
well, it was the first Star Wars, right?
Well,
Well, it was,
in,
yeah.
in line, but
Well, I mean, that's when when we were working at whole whatever we were people at the time. That's when we went. It was the day that it came out,
mm,
and I'll
yeah,
never forget that.
yeah. If people watch in the numerical order of those movies, they'll be totally confused when they get to the first ones that actually came out.
I've
I
seen.
actually,
Go ahead.
I was just going to say, I actually, before the first Star Wars movie premiered, I read the novel that George Lucas had written. And so I was like salivating, I was waiting for it.
Was
was
it
back in the
everything you
70s.
believed? Was it everything?
Oh, yeah, and more. I mean, it was fantastic. And
Yeah.
we loved it. Of course, we took the kids to see it, and then we kept going back.
Yeah.
I got really drunk with a guy one night, and we drank a lot of beer, smoked a lot of dope, and went to see Star Wars.
Excellent. Excellent.
And passed out, I think.
Well, after the movie came out, the UC Berkeley did a series of filmmaker and artist and music maker evenings, and one of them was the sound guy. I'm trying to remember the guy that did most of the sound effects for Star Wars, for the early Star Wars, and worked for Lucas. And he did a whole lecture there, and really interesting stuff. They had him on one of the shows, and then I went to one that had Brian Eno, which he was quite interesting.
I bet.
But the guy that did the sound was, an interesting guy, and he did some really unusual things to accomplish these, really different sounds, because the sound effects on Star Wars were quite different from what we'd seen in a lot of sci-fi movies.
Yeah, they were. That's right. I would say that. Even in Star Trek, they Star Wars was so far from that, so different from that. There are some pretty hardcore Trekkies who do not believe in Star Wars. They do not think it is a good show.
The Star Wars, Star Trek wars are
Right?
something you really want to avoid at all costs.
No
This is where I come back to
death.
This is where I come back to my belief in cooperation. I like them both.
Can't we all just get along?
Right? Can't you just think of this as like predating the other Star Wars? Star Trek predates Star Wars, right? It would be cool if they did have a crossover character, just one.
Maybe the right question for right now is, what is your favorite Christmas movie? Because we're getting there.
Die Hard.
Yeah. Totally Die Hard.
The Christmas movie, it was not a Christmas movie.
No, that is the best Christmas movie ever. You have to watch it every Christmas.
And I always do.
Yep. It's like the new, remember when that other movie was on all the time? Not Miracle on 34th Street, but the one with Jimmy Stewart, and you're going to hit rub the hot dog.
Yeah.
Ding dong.
Mm-hmm.
That one was always on when we were kids. Like, that movie ran every night, all the time at Christmas. You can't get away from it. And I guess Die Hard might be that now, right?
Yeah.
What the hell was the name of that? What was that movie? It was
Which one?
Jimmy Stewart. The Christmas
yeah.
movie. Can't believe I don't know. I can't remember it.
Well, my other favorite is the
Isn't
Christmas Story.
Isn't that funny? It's a Wonderful Life.
It's a Wonderful Life.
Of
Oh my
course.
God.
Yeah,
that
that was the
movie.
Christmas Story with Ralphie Parker getting his BB gun.
That was a good one.
Yeah.
Careful.
Christmas was when I got my BB gun and nearly shot my eye out.
Did you
So
put your eye?
I came real close. No, instead I shot my friend in the ass and got in all sorts of trouble.
Oh my God.
Somebody said, you can't do that. I said, yes, I can.
It won't kill him.
Paid for that one.
Oops.
Yeah, we were thinking
Oh.
about watching Christmas Vacation this Christmas. We saw Vacation not too long ago, and we were thinking Christmas Vacation might be a
What the National Lampoon?
yes,
Oh
Yeah.
yes.
boy, they're supposed to have. I may have missed it. There was supposed to be a Saturday Night Live Christmas episodes, best of all the Christmas skits that they've done, and
Oh
I
yeah.
think that may have been on yesterday, but
Oh
I'm sure it'll be recycled
oh,
throughout
yeah,
the Christmas season.
many times. I wonder
Yeah. Well,
who's. Oh, go
oh,
ahead.
go ahead.
I was just
I
gonna
was just
say.
gonna.
You
Let's all
go.
Go
talk at
ahead.
once.
I'm not talking.
Now there's going to be silence and a hush.
There is, in fact, I was gonna say that I'm very fond of Love Actually.
Okay. Is that what
You
y'all
ha-
are gonna? You're
you
gonna
don't know
watch?
what I'm talking about?
No,
Love Actually.
I've never seen
I've
it.
already watched it.
I've never seen it.
Never
I don't.
caught it.
Oh,
Rom-coms
you
are
should. You should
definitely
definitely
not.
see it.
I
I
don't
like
like
the whole
a.
concept of love, actually, but
Yeah,
anyway,
It's a
I'm.
pretty brilliant movie.
Is it?
It's a whole huge ensemble thing. It's and it's very entertaining.
Okay.
If nothing else, watch it for Bill Nye as an aging rock star.
Oh God, I bet that is
now
good.
there's a
Oh,
stretch.
he's hilarious. Yeah,
That's
he's great.
awesome. I didn't know he could act. I guess everyone has a SAG card, huh?
It's Bill Nye is actually an actor. It's not Bill Nye, but Bill Nighy, Nighy.
Oh, I
Yeah.
was like, Bill Nye, why would he do that? How very odd.
Bill Nye the Science Guy. Yeah.
Yeah, he
Yeah.
was on Big Bang Theory and a lot of other geeky stuff.
That's so funny. I didn't know that. I never watched that either. I was not a Big Bang theorist. I didn't. There were a lot of popular shows that I didn't get into, and that was definitely one. Did you guys watch The Big Bang?
I watched it after the fact, just because it was the only thing on late at night.
I watched it. Some, not religiously.
Yeah, it was too much like people I knew that I really didn't want to know.
Right?
The worst of the nerd culture, the geek culture, and some of the best also.
It was, yeah. I didn't get the humor. I didn't think it was. I just didn't think it was funny. I don't know. Maybe, but there's so many people who say that about shows like Frasier or, oh, I just don't get that humor. I don't think it's funny. Or
Yeah, Fraser, I was
Well,
never.
see,
there's a lot of
It
there's a
never
lot of
floated
in
my
jokes
boat.
there's a lot of in jokes in the Big Bang Theory.
Mhm.
If you hang out with geeks a lot,
yeah.
it's funnier.
If you're into, role-playing games, science fiction, computers, science, and they cover a lot of geeky subjects.
Yeah.
I knew a lot of people who are like those characters, especially the Jim Parsons character.
Yes.
And he just had that down pat.
Hmm.
It was just perfect.
Yeah, it's good to watch on TV. But, I knew some similar kind of folks, and I really didn't want to be around them.
Right.
Oh, speaking of Frasier, have any of you seen Kelsey
No.
Grammer's
He got in some trouble.
Nazis Are Lovable series for Fox?
He's such an idiot. He's
He
got
was an
this,
idiot then. He just, sharpened his idiot act.
and he just launched his new show, which is a reboot of his old show, and it looks horrible.
I'm
It's
sure
like
it will be.
canned laughter. The acting is bad. It's just I used to watch Frasier. I thought it was funny, but it looks sad to me. Like just too much effort for very little payoff. Overly excited.
Overly. Well, we've got 5 minutes remaining, and Who has a
You know that
parting
movie
shot?
that movie that we talked about earlier on Netflix. Um, remind me, Susie. Oh, you're
Last thing in the world. What is
yeah.
it? Leave the World Behind.
Leave the world behind. Leave the world behind. Friends is featured in that in a big
It's
way.
so funny.
It's
It
actually a
is
very
so
important
funny.
part of the story. Yeah.
Hmm. It is. It was, and the ending was a little surprising.
I
I
guess
think
I'm
they're
gonna
I
have to watch
got
it
so
then.
I just got thrown because I was looking at. Let me show you what I was looking at. I was looking at. I thought I was looking at our Zoom, but instead I was looking at YouTube where I had the sound off and it's lagging, and it was so confusing.
Ooh, deja vu all over again.
That's awesome and weird. I feel
And
like
weird, yes.
I feel like I'm on some kind of
That's like
delete.
sitting in a mirror, in a mirror behind you and a mirror in front of you, and getting
You see
lost in that.
hundreds and hundreds and
They
hundreds of
used to do
yourself.
that in men's
Yeah.
barber shops. You had the dueling mirrors, and that would
Yes.
hypnotize you, and then the poor barber could get his work done without you being
Moving around.
conscious.
That reminds me of the Barber of Seville, Bugs Bunny. Remember that?
Yeah,
Oh yeah.
what's
From
called a
classic.
rabbit? That was
Yeah.
another good one.
That was, yeah. I've been watching a lot of those. I've been so upset lately with all the things that are happening in Texas,
Mhm.
mostly. And so I've been watching a lot of Bugs Bunny. It's
Oh yeah,
like, oh,
on one of the streaming services that they have all the old Bugs Bunny all the way back to the black and white ones.
mhm. You know,
And
and where he had
I've
that,
watched those, and those are great.
and his accent was real New York,
Yeah.
almost Bronxy New York when they first started. And he was real pointy.
Mhm. Yeah, and the World War II stuff was very interesting, and just the way they dealt with it. It would be probably politically incorrect today.
Everything
You know,
about Bugs
once
Bunny is politically incorrect today.
Yeah, true.
when I had consumed certain substances, I hung out with Bugs Bunny.
Did you?
Yes.
What
Yes,
did
sleigh
he?
ride through the universe with Bugs
Oh,
Bunny.
that
It
is
happened.
so awesome. I like
Yeah, it was
that.
kind of amazing.
Yeah, it sounds like it.
There are
Maybe
worse
I'll try it
people,
again.
that's not a bad choice.
Mm-mm.
I
No,
had a thing about Bugs Bunny for years and years. To this day, when I sign my name, I draw a picture of myself as Bugs Bunny.
Well, one of my favorite things that happened at the loadout at the end of a big concert that we did in the Bay Area, and it was like a who's who of everybody that was doing concert production was on the show, and it was tough, and it was just one of those things where everybody was just struggling. At the very end, we're getting the last of the stuff taken down, and somebody, my friend Luis, started singing "What's Gonna Wabbit, What's Gonna Wabbit," and we ended up all of us marching around with road cases,
kill the
singing that,
rabbit.
and
kill the-
and the people from I forget what the band was. Now we're just looking at it's like these people are insane. Let's all run. Tour buses and all.
Get away, get away. Yeah, they did some really, really cool stuff with music. I think using classical music and opera. Even What's Opera Doc has got to be the best one. But then there's that one. I think it's called. Oh, I can't remember. Anyway, it's where he's playing the banjo, and then the opera singer is actually going la 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 la. Remember? And he goes and he like directs him at the theater, and he makes him hold that note for so long that he gets red in the face and his tie starts pulling apart. It's
Well, the one to watch these days is this ones they did with the Gremlin from the Kremlin.
Oh yeah.
Whoa.
The Bugs and the Gremlin from the Kremlin.
I remember the Gremlin from the
I
Kremlin.
haven't seen that. I'm gonna check that out.
It's newsworthy now.
Oh wow. Okay.
Okay, everybody, go out and get Gremlin from the Kremlin. Bugs
gonna
said
do
to
it.
send, and in the meantime, we'll all take a left turn at Albuquerque.
I knew I missed it.
And that left turn at Albuquerque is how you get to Chuck Jones' studio in Santa Fe, because he would be coming in from Hollywood. He would take a left turn at Albuquerque and go up to his
That's
studio
so
in
funny.
Santa Fe, and he has a shop up there still. He's long gone,
Well, yeah,
but you could go out and
Yeah.
buy memorabilia there.
that would be cool.
I actually, I've been to that shop.
Yeah, it's cool. I have a couple of books from it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, hey,
Well, we have
o'clock.
reached the end of the internet.
I think it's happy hour again in my
Yeah.
house. I've got to go and
So,
do birthday girl stuff.
All right. Happy birthday, Clarissa.
yeah. Happy birthday,
Yeah.
Clarissa.
And I'm going to have to confess that
Wait. Here we go. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy
Happy
birthday, dear
I can't sing very well.
Clarissa. Does this work with latency?
birthday.
To you.
All righty then. Thanks,
All
folks.
right.
A lot of fun.